Hello, welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to the final part in our series on the book Weg van het piekeren, actie als remedie, or Away from Worrying, Action as a Remedy by Filip Raes. Short little send-off recapitulating the main points we noticed throughout the book. The most important segments, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. First of all, we first saw that everybody in the world almost is a worrier. We all worry from time to time, but for some people it becomes an extreme force of habit that takes up a lot of time and energy in their life, and that's when it becomes problematic and when something should be done about it probably. Your genes make it so that you have a certain characteristic called neuroticism in a certain level in yourself, which makes you a bit more anxious, a bit more careful about everything, and a bit more reluctant to try out new things, for example. This contributes to worrying. Worrying then contributes to the relation between stress and chronic stress, depression, anxiety and bodily symptoms, and social support and connectedness to others can remedy this relationship, can kind of dampen the transition from stress into chronic stress and all other problems. Worrying is a part of you, and it makes you hold on to stress longer so that it can develop into more negative forms. Worrying used to be beneficial for us. Natural selection made sure that worrying kept existing throughout the ages because it gave us a little evolutionary benefit, and because natural selection and evolution doesn't give a rat's ass about happiness, because worrying doesn't really make you happy. In essence, worrying consists of three main things. It's repetitive about something negative. It's something you don't have, it's a behavior you don't have control about, you can't really control it or stop it, and it's unproductive. It doesn't actually bring you closer to a solution. Try to objectify your worrying, try to give it a name, to give it a shape, a color, a feeling. Try to see it as something inside of you. It's just a part of you, it's not you as a person entirely. That's crucial for diffusion, for you to kind of let loose that worrying side of you, to make some distance between you as a person and worrying as your behavior. And worrying is of course a form of avoidance, because you feel like you are working on the problems you are worrying about, but in reality you are not at all, you are avoiding them. Action, action, action. Action is the number one remedy against worrying. Remember PITA. Piekeren, teken voor actie, or what? Worrying, huh? Action time. It's all about action. When your worrying is anxiety related, we are talking about exposure therapy. Exposing yourself to the things you are worrying about without allowing yourself to do any of the avoidance behaviors you would normally do, like worrying. If we're talking about depressive feelings, the action consists of behavioral activation therapy, where regardless of your worry about whether you will, for example, enjoy the party or not, you go to the party and you probably will enjoy yourself. Those are learning experiences and they are crucial. Regardless of in what disorder or symptom cluster it happens, worrying is worrying. And treatment is largely the same. Action. Just do something. It's important to choose the right action though. If your worrying is a form of avoidance toward a specific problem, then solving that problem and actually doing the thing you're avoiding is the most important thing to do right now. If you can do it right now, do it right now. If you have control over it but you can't do it right now, write down the first steps in a concrete manner of how you're going to solve that issue. If you don't have control over it, you're for example worrying about climate change or World War III breaking out in Russia and Ukraine, do something that is valuable to you, something that you would normally do if you would not be worrying, or something that triggers your flow state. And regardless of worrying, make sure that you still try to live a full and rich life. Worrying is gonna be there, accept that it's gonna be there, don't try to push it away. Remember the little image with the head filled with darkness and light space. Make sure you make that light space grow to diminish the darkness, but don't think that the darkness is completely gonna disappear. And if all else fails, move, go outside and do it together. People need people. Relax, take it easy, go for a nice walk, just do nothing even sometimes, as long as it's not a form of avoidance. And mindfulness can also play a key factor in getting rid of worrying, not really, worrying differently. Don't evaluate it all that much. Just observe everything in the world and get rid of those evaluations you always accompany your worldview with. Develop a healthy form of self-compassion, mildness, openness, and humor towards yourself. Humor really is one of the crucial parts in dealing with your worrying. And a final technique that hasn't been mentioned before, but that I really mention to a lot of clients, is the technique of the camera crew. Whenever something bad happens or you feel like a giant tragedy has just occurred, Imagine a camera crew with a news reporter showing up on the scene to report on that. An example the author of the book, Filip Raes, gives, for example, is when he was getting ready to take his son to school, his son's bike fell over. And immediately he was like, oh, this is gonna be a shit day, I'm such a bad father. And then he imagined just a camera crew being like, yes, folks, you can see it, it's an absolute tragedy, the bike dropped to the ground, of course he is a very bad father, this is gonna be the worst day in his existence. And that helps. That helps to kind of make it ridiculous. And it's important to make it ridiculous because they are just thoughts. Worrying thoughts are just thoughts, and thoughts can't physically harm you or force you to do anything. All you can do is accept that they are thoughts and go for a full and rich life nonetheless. Once a worrier, always a worrier, but worrying action time, you can learn to deal with it differently. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey throughout this amazing self-help book. I learned a lot from it. I hope you got something from it as well, and I hope you use some of the techniques in your day-to-day life, or in whichever way, shape, or form this book could have been valuable to you. I just hope it meant something to you. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.